Good morning. I'm a little late to the sunrise. Trying to get it set up right now. Ay, ay, ay. Just gonna have to hold it and freeze my butt off. There we go. I just. It's a little smoky. I expected it to be smokier. We've got fires up near Flagstaff. Apparently, it wasn't too large. There we go. It won't stay like that, will it? Had one up by Camp Navajo where I like to camp. I don't. It doesn't look like it was a prescribed burn. It could have been though. I didn't thoroughly look it up. But I don't have coffee yet. Got up late. Okay, what's that noise? There's a critter. I'm gonna go explore. Guys, keep watching the sun. apparently it was just a woodpecker. It was kind of dumb though, because it sounded like something scratching a bark. And then as I'm going over there, I'm like, what if it's a bear? But anyway, good morning, good morning. Hi, Cole. Yeah, it's a little bit smoky. We have some fires up in Flagstaff, one up by Camp Navajo where I like to go. So it's a good thing I didn't head straight up there right now because I'd have to be leaving. They evacuate the area. Only I could get a better tilt on that thing. It just doesn't want to go. Fire that way, maybe. No. Yeah, I heard something scratching a bark. Well, I didn't know what the sound was at first. Then I realized it was bark. And I'm like, is that a bear? Why am I walking towards it? And here it's just a woodpecker. Looks like somebody's over at the bench on the other side watching the sunrise. Wish I'd have had got coffee. I didn't set an alarm because I'm usually up. I'll be doing a hike of some kind today. I'm not sure if I'm going to hang glider or out on the new trail. Didn't go yesterday, and it's probably because I sat in my camper most of the day. I could not get warm. If I was in camp spot number 3, I'd have got a really good picture of them mule deer last night. But they saw my head move in the window, so they were not going to get closer. They didn't run, but up in Flagstaff, you get cows. I woke up the one outside my window once. They used to have a problem here with farmers down in the valley letting their cows, well, they free range, but they let them come up into the mountains. And you got that church camp, and once in a while a cow would just show up. We've got cows that were coming up here for a while too. Right under the sign where it says bear country, there was a giant puddle of cow poo. If somebody didn't notice the difference, they would have freaked out. So just 2 days ago, it was nice and clear, no fires. Today, way different story. I can feel it in my throat actually. But the fires here are normal for this time of year. I know in a lot of other areas it's not, but for this area it is a little bit odd because of the rain. but it is normal. And if you watch Dutch Since, he talks about fires starting along fault lines. And he thinks a lot of the Canadian ones were started along a fault line, but we don't know for sure. But looking at his maps, you can see storms arising from around the fault lines. And he says that comes from heat making the moisture rise up and a storm will form. And it's all along the fault lines. And he showed it. It's pretty interesting. But the plate is definitely moving. It's when it gets stuck and it doesn't move that you get a quake. Like in, who got one yesterday? 6.6? Guatemala? Guatemala? Yeah, maybe. I know Tonga, the islands, they've been getting hit for years now, a couple years now at least. Probably longer, but they have up to 7.7 in that area. They're getting hit hard. That woodpecker must have found a really good meal because he is digging into the bark. He doesn't have to make a hole, he's already in. Oh, jeez, sorry. It is at a weird angle. I have to organize my stuff today. I have to find that old phone holder that we tore apart. Maybe get it in a pole and maybe I could set it up to hold this camera at a different angle. Hey, reptile. Howdy, howdy. Gearing up for my Sea to Shining Sea sunrise on Memorial Day, which will be fun. I've got Roy in California. I think it's California. He's West Coast anyway. He says he has someone in New York who, or not New York, way up higher than New York, that might do one from there. I just got to get the areas listed up and put on. I've got to talk to Mona, make sure she knows how to get the stream to her own channel so that she can join us. She knows how to stream, but I don't know if she knows yet how to get it to someone else's StreamYard to get to her channel. So we're gonna make sure she knows how to do that so we can have her on. A lot of that will be okay. I'm awake. Oh, what? Before you're awake. Oh, before you're awake. I didn't bring my reader, sorry. Yeah, you'll be able to go watch it though. Should be there. I'm gonna see if I can get Mona to do her flag story. That would be rocking. She does a lot of things for vets in Branson, Missouri. In this last year, she did the Convoy of Honor, which included people from our convoy that we did last year. She's having another one this year, but I really don't know how many people are going. I don't even know if I could afford to go that way, that direction. So I may, if if they make that stupid decision, I'll know. but I might be able to just fly in for that. I probably won't be able to drive in. Let me tilt this a little bit so you could. Oh, now I lost the little rock. It's a little tricky getting the sunrise up here. It just doesn't want to go at the right angle. I've got to get that phone holder thing set up today. And that sparking creativity thing I was going to do, I grabbed the wrong book. So I can't start that until June when I go back to Mesa to go pick it up. I just realized there's two specialists that never called. I can't get through to the doctor. They want me to go in physically to do it. And I'm like, he already ordered it. Should be able to just check on the orders. But they're crazy. They ended my telehealth. They don't like Nomad, so they ended telehealth for me. It's all kind of mean, but that's where the world's going. I just prefer to know where everybody is at all times. I hear a car. They must be in the day area already, which they're not supposed to be until 6 a.m. But I'm in the day area and it's not 6 a.m. either. Yeah, seems everything is boiling point. I know, and Shavuot / Pentecost is on Sunday, and that's 40 days after the Passover, or 7 weeks plus a day, which is 7 Sabbaths, they say. So it's actually on Sunday. So it is going to be an exciting one this year. And then Tabernacles is the next feast that hasn't been fulfilled by Yeshua, Jesus, the English word. Um, that'll be coming up in the fall. Really exciting to see where all this goes. I haven't watched the news, but I'm pretty sure you know how we get these debt scares every year. They're going to call our debts and we can't pay it. And we're not going to be able to pay all our bills. I think they might let it go this time. I think they're ready for the digital currency. That's just my thoughts on it. I think they're just going to let it default because that's the only way they're going to get digital currency in. They signed that thing last year, I think it was. And then Biden set to sign us over to the WHO. And there's a doctor. I'll have to find that video and put it in my link. He talks about the changes to the documents that WHO has. And a lot of them, instead of just a health, like pandemic thing, it's like anything that can relate to health. Well, that's our whole lives. We're not that dumb. And they're also free from any consequences. Non-binding, that's the word. It's non-binding. Even the temporary orders are non-binding, so nothing they can do. Nobody remembers what they did in the 70s with the black people. They got busted even. I just can't believe that blindly we would go and trust them again. It's craziness to me. The whole world's gone freaking nuts. I hope not. That's true. I hope not. But then again, I also you get to a point where you want to see the Bible all come true, and we all want to see the beautiful end. But we got to go through the crap to get there. And it, I wasn't around in the 70s. Okay, I was young in the 70s, but I was around. Sun's up pretty high, but it's hard for the camera to catch it with all that smoke. It looks like a huge sun according to what I can see on the camera. But that giant globe is bigger than the sun part itself, actually. I had to quit looking at it because I'm not going to be able to read the chat, the sunspots. So yeah, we'll either go up to the hang glider or go on a hike with my buddy. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how he feels about cameras. But if we do that, I figured out how to do a slash pocket tour because we're going to be climbing through some rough terrain. Is if I put a microphone on it and keep the microphone out of my pocket, it won't rustle around. Looks like you're out in the middle of nowhere. I am on Mingus Mountain in Arizona. It's above the Prescott Valley, above Jerome. The campground up here is at the very top of the mountain. So I'm about 7,200 feet right now, above everything. Let me see if I can point it down. You can see the rolling down. That's all downwards. You don't want to fall down there. There's the other edge. It's a sharper fall. Yeah, it's like the middle of nowhere. It's 5 miles up the hill. The hang glider is 7,200 feet at that. When I went up to the fire tower the day before yesterday, that was 7,743 feet. And when we get fog that's lower than the mountain, it's like you're shut off from the whole world. I really like that. You don't hear any sounds from below. It's like you're in Puff the Magic Dragon Land. Anytime I see clouds, that's what it reminds me of, or fogs. But we can get clouds. The clouds go right through the camp sometimes. But it's supposed to be sunny all week. But with these fires, they'll trigger up some storms. So we don't know. Just depends on if they got the fire out or not. Yep, one of my favorite places. I wish I could be up here all year round. It's 14 days for every 30. And I'm heading to Wilhoit on next Thursday. I don't know why I had already spent 7 days up here. But I came on the 20th or the 19th. But anyway, 14 days. So I'll be leaving on the 1st of June. And I'll be spending an overnight in the valley at some kind of truck stop because I want to eat at a Denny's for my birthday down in Prescott. Got a big storm yesterday. Wow. Yep, it is an El Nino year. Every 7 years. Places that are dry get more rain, and places that are rainy get less rain. And then there will be a lot of tornadoes this season, also. I wonder if the 7 year El Nino goes with you remember the 7 year rest in the Bible? And that was the year they didn't plant, and their crops would come up as a secondary crop. I forget what you call it. But I wonder if it's related to that. That would be pretty amazing because Israel's kind of dry like Arizona. And to get a lot of extra rain in a year that you don't plant would certainly help a lot of plants come up without work. So I'm wondering if it's related. We lost track of time when some people changed it for various reasons. Then I had somebody try to tell me that wasn't true, and I'm like, look in the Bible, it tells you somebody's going to change them. Looking forward to the weeds, but definitely not the rain. Yeah, I don't like the rain much. There's not much I can do except sit in my camper and paint, maybe. Let's see, one of the hiking trails down there. If my foot was a lot steadier, I could go over to that rock and do a view over, but my foot is not steady at all. I don't get closer than 5'3" to the edges usually because that way, if I fall, I'm not going all the way down. I think when I was a kid, I fell like, oh, what was it, 50 feet down? I don't know why I didn't get any injuries, but they thought for sure I was going to be down. I also, Diamond Head Mountain in Hawaii. Just realized I got the purple holder in there. We climbed Diamond Head when I was in fourth grade, and I slipped and I was hanging off of a tree. All the wind, it kind of blew me off the edge, is what it was. Don't have a good balance, so I don't get. Yep, that's me too. So the wind blew me off. I'm hanging on a tree. My dad gets me back up and he goes, "Okay, we're going down." And I started crying, "No, I want to keep going up." And my dad's like, "No way." He had four of us at the time going up this trail. Kind of funny. I'll fall, but I'll want to keep going. I'm not, I'm usually not much of a quitter. I don't know why lately I feel like I am. It's kind of weird. Those trees just look like grass littering the side, and it's really trees. It's amazing. It's so green. I've never seen it that green before. So if I do the hang glider, I might do the geocache that's down the road a couple miles. Also, we will be doing the hang glider this week sometime, for sure. But maybe I don't know. I thought I would be hiking yesterday, but he never came over. I guess I'm supposed to go over there. I don't know, but we never set it. I guess you got to set a time to go because if I'm not hanging outside the camper, people don't come over. And I could not get warm enough to hang outside the camper, so. Oh, wow. Yeah, I fell on my tailbone the last summer I worked at the church campus. It was 3 or 4 years ago. And I heard it crunch. I knew I did something serious, but I'm like, maybe I could walk it off. So 3 days later, I completely forgot that I fell. And I just pushed through that pain. Oh, I was washing dishes at the camp. And I can't even tell you how much pain it was. It was pain to walk anywhere. 6 months later, I decided to go see the doctor. And I tell him I fell and hurt my tailbone. He's like, "And you wait 6 months?" And I said, "I forgot what caused it." Uh, But anyway, it was too late to do anything about it. So it took, oh, maybe 2.5 years of walking with that pain. And I wouldn't stop walking. I just kept going. My legs would get numb. I couldn't feel them anymore. I just kept going. But I can still hike. I think if I would have went to the doctor, they would have fixed it, had me not do any walking, and then it would have been hard to get back to walking again. So I'm kind of glad I pushed through it. Plus, it gave me the strength to know I can get through anything that I have to get through. So that was good in itself. But yeah, my legs no longer go numb. So it's a good thing. Could have turned out worse. It could have broke my back. But I was getting in my camper. I didn't have it on a trailer then. Oh, so it had to be 5 or 6 years ago. Because I didn't have the trailer then, and I was hanging onto the roof, and it was wet, and I fell backwards and landed my tailbone right on a rock. Oh, I got a trailer when I worked it. So I worked 2 summers at that camp with a broken tailbone pain. Wow. Back and hip. Yeah. I have a disc in my back that's so flat that some doctors see it and some don't. It's also torn. It probably repaired by now though, because that was maybe 10 years ago. But I did have it for a really long time. Anyway, it doesn't bother me as much anymore. Thinking at some point I need a hip replacement, which will suck. Messed up as I may. Yep, it's hard. I can't tell you. The pain makes you cry. But if if they fix it and you get through it, you might want to push through that pain for a couple years. I mean, I was crying and numb and kept going for years like that, a couple years at least, and it was worth it. I know a lot of people like to stop when there's that much pain. It's exhausting. It is exhausting, but it might be worth it. If you're younger than me, it shouldn't be a problem if you get the hip replaced to just start doing stuff, push beyond it. I wouldn't trust doctors anymore either, but sometimes you got to, especially if you can't walk anymore. I'm pretty sure a doctor would have just told me to just rest your back, and I would have agreed because it was painful. Would have had me scared, but I'm glad I didn't know. Yeah, a little bit of an orange cast along that line, probably because of all that smoke. That's a lot of smoke. I can't even see the color up in Flagstaff. I'm gonna have to go down to the viewpoint and do a short because you could see the mountains in Flagstaff from the viewpoint easier. I've got the mountain in my way here. Was born with spina bifida in your back. Oh, yeah. My legs were turned out at the knees, more on the right than the left when I was born, but I never knew. I never knew I had any birth defect stuff until much later. Like, well, I think it was after my tailbone thing that I realized, hey, it does turn out at the knee. I knew my feet stuck out, and all this time they kept trying to tell me it was the arches. It wasn't. My rib cage is super small. I wear a child's medium helmet. My shoulders are very, very small. I remember my mom when I was a teenager telling me she would buy me this jacket I wanted really bad when my shoulders grew out. I'm like, but I never put two and two together before. It could mean the wheelchair for you, true. But if you can physically do it, I mean, if they fix it, then you should be able to walk on it. I mean, paying my is real tiny. She's like 5 feet only, 80 pounds. Oh no, I'm 5'3" and I'm more pounds than I want to be. When I'm about 10 pounds lighter, it's much easier to get around. But I guess as you age, it's harder and harder. Annie, there you are. I don't know if you got the horrible news, but I can't make my trip to Washington. So I'm not going to get to see you. I'm so disappointed. That was going to be the highlight of my trip. So sad. All the money I had saved up went into truck and camper repairs. Every last dime. In fact, it's almost exact amount. Kind of weird. Yeah, I'm sorry. I feel so bad. I cried for like a whole week. My friend had to put up with my pouting. They just knew I couldn't go at that point. I had to get all brakes, front and back. I had to get new drums for the back and new cylinders. Then I had motor mounts, spark plug wires, truck bed was coming loose. The wheel bearings on the camper were coming loose. I had to get new bearings and new seals and they were all special order. Oh, it just nickel and dimed every last dime. How or N are you going to make it then? I don't understand. How for N are you going to make it then? I have enough. I have about 250 a month for fuel and food and phone and internet. So I can make it. It's not going to be comfortable. But they haven't stopped my checks yet. So um, every month they let another check go through, I'll have an extra 50 a month to survive. If they shut me down for the 5 months. If they don't, your car's still in the body shop? Oh no, a new exhaust system. I am like freaking out over how the truck drives differently. It uses more RPMs to accelerate than it used to, and I'm like, is this my transmission? I don't know. It's just making me. Oh, north. So, how far north am I going to make it? To Flagstaff, Arizona. That's as far north as I'm going to be able to get. Oh, something just went up in the air over Flagstaff. Don't know if it'll show up in the camera or not. There's a tiny black dot way over there. I don't know if you could see it, but it looks like a helicopter or a blimp. It just popped up. Tiny black thing. That is so weird. Huh. And yeah, it looks more like a blimp. It's too big to be a helicopter at that distance. But there are fires over that way. It's where all this haziness is coming from. Oh, wish I'd have brought my glasses. I can't see what that is. E-reptile I met through streams. I went from streams to streams to streams. And I think I was on um, Tommy Temper show, and somebody referred me to Cole Watts. But I also Victoria, BC. He's on both of those. So that's how I ran into E-reptile. And whatever that black thing is, it's going down again. Yeah. No, a blimp would have been up longer. Unless it's going down into a valley. Nope, it's down. You can't see it. It is below the mountain range. That was strange. Probably on coals. Or red cactus. That's it. Yep. On red cactus. With her tree sunrises. At least I was able to join a sunrise there when I couldn't stream from Quartzsite. Hers started about the same time I lost my signal and wasn't able to do them. And then I got involved with the group, and then I'm like, but I got to get back to my own sunrises, and it's kind of hard to walk away from something you got used to go back to something you used to do before. But I can't not share these views. They're amazing. Can't not share them. Cutting out sugars makes weight easier. Yeah, makes it easier for me too because that causes a lot of inflammation. I'm completely off white sugar again. I don't know how I got back on it, but I was able to get right back off again. And I eat a lot of onions, garlic, cumin, a lot of anti-inflammatory stuff. I'm just loading my food up with it. I think I overdid the cumin last night, but that's okay. Oh, 11 and a half miles away is your mailbox? That's horrible. Well, I guess I shouldn't say much because my mail's going to Mesa and it's 2.5 hour drive away. It's about 118 miles or so to my mailbox, I guess. I'd have to be able to have my car to get to it. I've got to move it though. I've got to move it over to this Prescott area, which means I can't stop in Mesa anymore. I don't think my friend realizes when I move my mailbox that I'm not going to be able to go to Mesa. I'll have to go to the mailbox instead. Yeah, hop on the bike. Annie used to ride bike. Do you still have a bike, my Annie? I can't remember. I am considering getting an electric scooter since I have abundance in solar power now. I used to have one as my main form of transportation for like 12 years. It had a seat, so I could go down to the store and I would hook my cart to the back of the seat, go grocery shopping. But it finally quit working after 12 years. 11 miles to the. Oh, a bicycle, not a bike. Oh, that would be fun. 22 miles on a bike ride. I know a lot of people who ride bicycles, and 20 miles is like nothing for them. For walking, it's a day's hike, but I could still walk 20 miles, but I would be very, very wore out at the end. Although with my heart condition, I agitated my heart murmur, I should say. It's getting better. I'm not short of breath. I was able to climb the fire tower with hardly any shortness of breath. No, I don't have a bike anymore. Too much road construction along the road. Back to road school. Yeah, I can't believe they're still working out there. I think it's funny how fast they can get houses up. But when it comes to a road, there are months and months and months. I think they just milk it for all the money they can. They've destroyed all the road now. Wow, it's not even bike friendly anymore. Are they really fixing it or just destroying it? They'll walk away and say we don't have money anymore. Never could walk 20 miles. Wow. Yeah. I wonder what's going to happen on June 1st. We're going to default on our loans. Don't want to take any responsibility for his free for all spending. We're sending money to Ukraine. We can't even take care of our own stuff. It's insane. I I haven't watched Joe at the border, but there was Chinese coming over. I'm like, well, his campaign promise was to send our kids to China for an education. Maybe he just brought them over. I don't know. Here's my thoughts on the immigrants is a few years before that, I can't remember exactly how many, the United Nations was hiring disarmament people. And if you notice on the border, there's a lot of healthy males coming over. And I'm like, are these the disarmament people? Because I was trying to think, how are they going to get into the U.S. under the radar? Well, they're not under the radar, but I mean, the immigrant part isn't. But what if that's who they're bringing in? And then if when the sea broke out, there were ads everywhere. They were hiring tracers. What happened to all of those people? Yeah, I think it's just crazy how long it takes to do a road when they can do a house so short. But in the Phoenix Valley, in the summertime, that's what it's all about. It's road construction. That's what happens when you put old dementia. Lunatic in office. Yeah, I think he's there just to be used. I don't think he's in control at all, to be honest. And if he is, he's faking it all. And a lot of people have said he's faking too, which is possible. The guy's dirty, always been dirty. This stuff's coming out. There's proof everywhere, and no one wants to hear it. It's so insane. It hurts my brain. Or maybe everybody is awake and we're just too far apart to even unite. Even little things like the convoy. I mean, it doesn't seem like it was little, but there was thousands of people and it broke up like that. It was gone. And there's fighting amongst the people who were even on that. It's we can't even unite. We've gotten to the point where we just won't accept certain behaviors, so that tears us apart. You can't be in control. But he could be faking. I keep saying he can't be in control, but he could. Oh, he could be faking. You'd never know. And the Bible talks about somebody with a head wound that gets healed. I don't know if that's a gunshot to the head or faking being sick. Don't know. You just wonder about these things. What a mess. Oh, it's so hard to read out here. What comes then is now. Yeah, I have so many people telling me not to give up on the U.S. Things are going to get better. But if we really want the Bible to come true, it's got to get worse. I know we don't want to live through crap, but somebody's got to. And I think we're strong enough to. We just don't unite enough. And that's what's going to kill off most of us. The original convoy. Yep. I don't know how the Canadian convoy is getting along with each other, but I know the American one, a lot of the people just, they don't even speak to each other anymore. Even some I've known that won't even talk with me anymore. And I'm not someone who tells people where to go and stuff. I'm pretty accepting. Except for I did have a thing with Warren this summer, but I didn't tell him never to call me and never to speak to me. He just didn't like that I didn't agree. He got into an incident where he touched a stranger's hair because he thought she was single and her boyfriend cold cocked him. And he didn't think he needed to be punched for touching somebody's hair. And I just made it clear that I thought he was in the wrong and he did not like that. But he kept bringing it up, waiting for people to agree with him. And I'm like, I'm not going to agree with that. It just ain't going to happen. So he doesn't get on my lives anymore. It's totally inappropriate to touch a stranger's hair. Whether she's single or married doesn't make a difference. So, anyway, but yeah. Well, I'm seeing a spot show up on my camera. I'm going to have to quit doing the sunrise or I'll burn my lens out. You can't just touch because you want to. I know. I'm like, Biden didn't touch that girl's hair. He just sniffed the top of her head and he was in trouble. I mean, anyway, guys, I'm going to have to end this here or my phone camera is going to get a little buggy. I will do some form of a hike today. So I'll see you later. Thank you so much for joining in. It was an enjoyable morning. And I'm glad to see you again, Annie. I really missed you. Okay. Bye bye.